Okay, so I wanted to give y'all a quick story time about how I almost got trafficked by my best friend. Well, literally like set up in traffic. I was dancing in this little hole in the wall in New Orleans, and I had met this girl at the strip club my first night. She was telling me how she was best friends with my best friend. So when I asked my friend, at the time dance partner as well, I was like, hey, do you know this chick? She claims that she knows you. And she was like, yeah, she's cool. You know, she's been dancing here a long time. We consider her like an OG. She invited me to brunch the next day. She pulls up in this Mercedes, and she texts me that she's outside. So yeah, I get in the car, and she was already being a little awkward. Like, one of the questions was like, how would your family feel if you never came back? Like, if they never seen you again?
Hold up. If I get in somebody's car and they initially ask me how my family gonna feel if I don't come back home, that's the end of the ride. Ain't nothing to talk about. I'm calling me a Uber or Lyft. I'm out of there. Stop playing.
So mind you, while I'm making these phone calls, the girl is also making phone calls, but it's like a man's voice I'm hearing. I mean, every time we stop, y'all, she would stop and like call this man every single time we would stop or pull over. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I told my friend, I'm like, girl, does she have a boyfriend? Like, I'm texting her like, hey, do you know she got a boyfriend or something? Because every time we make a stop, she's calling this man, telling him where we at. My friend was taking too long to respond after I asked her if there was like a man involved or whatever. Did she have a man? Okay, we get to the girl's house. Y'all tell me why we walk in and her lights are out.
Crazy how her intuition was nudging at her the entire time. Like, red flag, red flag. Red flag was when she had to keep calling dude that ain't her dude. So you a worker. You working? So her intuitive guidance was guiding. Yeah. The dog probably even thought was strange,
Her lights are out. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what we gonna do if the lights out, so guess who she calls? This man. She's like, hey, like, the lights are out. Like, what are we supposed to do? I'm supposed to be getting ready for brunch, but the lights are out. Like, it's like as if the lights are out was like a fucking key word or something. Then we go to this hotel, motel type of place. So we check into this motel, and girl, when that motherfucker got on that phone that last time to tell that man where we was at, I lost it.
So, story here. This young lady is a dancer. She started out quite young. She gets in this environment, start hanging with the older crowd, the OGs, those before her. Become friends, so she thought. Decides to go hang with one of those friends. And then things go left. It gets crazy. Initially, she thought she was going out for brunch with this other dancer. They ended up going to a hotel room. But before arriving at this hotel room, it was like she noticed that this dancer would call this mysterious guy several times. Each time they stop. Then they get to this said dancer's house. There's no lights. She calls this man again. He gets them a room and eventually shows up. Crazy work. Be mindful of the company you keep. It may just save your life. And be mindful of that person's circle as well. Let's get back to it.
We get a knock on the door. It's the man. It's the man. He's like, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. Shorty walks out the door. Soon as he says, hey, let me talk to you for a minute, Shorty walks out the door. So at this point, I'm just looking, I like, like, yo, what's good? And he was like, hey, such, and you're going to need my number from now on. So I'm like, all right. I start putting it, I'm going along with it. I'm like, all right, what's your number? I put the number in my phone, and I'm like, what do I need to save it as? Like, what's your name? This man says, save my number in your phone as King. I literally lost it. I lost it. I already knew what was going on. I had at this point acted like I needed to go to the restroom, like I got his number, and told him it was nice to meet him. Was waiting on the girl to come back. When I came out the bathroom, she still wasn't there. It was still even taking a next breath without asking what the is going on. So he begins to ask me, how do I know my best friend? I'm like, no, how do you know my best friend? He's like, oh, she's been one of my girls for a minute. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck myself into? I was literally shaking in my motherfucking hands at this point.
So to get to the hotel room and look how shorty dips out on her, mysterious guy, boom, shows up. He won't let me holler at you. She walked out the room. I'm just hoping that, he didn't get physical with her, give her rugs or anything that, was against her will. So I'm really invested in this story time right now to see what happened, how did she get away, and what did she learn from this whole ordeal? Because I hope she learned something.
So part 2. My best friend is the one who knocks at the door because they go and open the door. And my heart dropped to my ass. It kind of crushed my heart because I felt like I was in a twilight zone, if you know what I mean. I kind of felt like it was the end for me because, mind you, I had been texting my friend and my friend had kind of stopped texting me as soon as I asked about the guy. So when I first seen her, my first reaction was like, how could you? And she was like, girl, I was just trying to put you on. Don't think too much. She kept saying, don't think too much. Don't think too much. I was just trying to put you on.
So her friend did return, but we don't get the happy ending that we were expecting. Her friend returned. She was over the situation. She couldn't believe what was done. They got into it. The simp jumps in and they whoop. So she had to initially call her sister from back home and her brother's baby mama. They then came out to New Orleans to pick the young lady up. Crazy story. But she starts to explain what she initially saw when she began dancing, how the club was set up. She didn't realize at a young age what she was really getting herself into. She said, again, this took place back in 2015, 2016. Now you know better, do better. I'm not here to judge. I got my own story times. My story time include other people, and I be trying. Maybe I could start doing those without saying names, but somebody's gonna be offended. But anyway, give y'all a little of my business instead of running everybody else's tea. This made her much wiser, made her close to God. So that is the happy ending, and she wasn't passed around. Thank God.
A lot could have happened, but it didn't. But yes, we did fight. We fought. They jumped me. After that, I left out. I called my family. I called my sister at the time.
Yeah, y'all definitely gotta check this video out. She knew that something was off with this whole situation. So when God speaks, listen. But I do agree a lot with when she speaks on, she said she was mostly kept in the house as a kid. She didn't really know how wicked the world could be. Her family kept her sheltered. And I agree, because we do that a lot of times as parents, thinking it'll protect the kid. But like she said, it made her unaware. So going through the situation made her stronger and aware. Parents, do you agree? I do try to with my parenting skills, I did try to let mine, Go out, explore, learn people, learn places. And then, I always give them the story of cause and effect. Now, you can go out here and be in these streets, but you got to know what comes with the streets. These problems come with it. But this the benefits of it. Fast money, freedom, girls, guys, XYZ. But then you got to give them the reality of it all and how to maneuver. I try to do that to my best knowledge, and mine's turned out okay for the most part. And she speaks on how we're still naive in our teens. And again, I agree. Not judging just this young lady, and obviously she still is in that industry, but she don't agree or stand on everything that this industry stands on. She just wants to make her coins. And at the same time, it's all entertainment. And we have to control our urges as people. So this lady right here is someone who is very disciplined, I see. Yes, so baby girl clearly, apparently, still is dancing. My question for her, why you still there? Find you another route, baby. Clearly that field is not for you. Somehow it's looking like you got stuck. I know fast money is very addictive, but my advice to you would be to find another field, another way. Flip your money. See, that goes back to parents. You got to give your kids the game, especially if you grew up in a fast environment or you grew up fast. Don't have them out here blind. And she clearly still needs a little guidance. So, my advice to you, sweetie, if you're making good money, flip your money, get you a business, start something, go back to school. Boss up for real. Don't put yourself at risk. Because if this was to happen again, who knows, it could be a lot worse. And it could be something that is against your will, especially with you coming out telling this information. Now you really got to watch your back, your surroundings, what you're drinking, smoking. Just be careful. What do you guys think about this story time? Drop your comments below.